So in this video, I want to talk about my new Zappiti Mini. I've been looking at Zappiti for a while because I've been planning to upgrade my dedicated home theater to like a 4K projector. I've been looking for a new media player platform to play all my content on. I've been currently using a combination of Plex, mostly Kodi DS player in my running off of my home theater PC, and that has been pretty much doing the brunt of the work. I also use an Xbox Series S for streaming stuff. I'm looking for like a replacement for the Kodi DS player because, well, the truth is Kodi DS player there hasn't been an update to Kodi DS player in, I'm gonna say 3 or 4 years at least. I currently have the newest iteration of it. From what my understanding, there's no plans on upgrading it or doing anything or kind of bringing it up to date with the current version of Kodi, or I think it's still running Kodi 17, and we're approaching Kodi version 20 at this point, so that's it's quite old. But I just wanted to talk about my experience with the Zappiti Mini and I guess the Zappiti media player as a whole. I think this is definitely the best solution as far as like standalone players that, you know, without building a home theater PC. Let's say you want to get into like having all your content on a network, then this is probably a really good option. You know, there's other options like Kaleidoscape, but then you gotta buy all your movies from them and download them to your Kaleidoscape. It's a very simple system. It may be beneficial if you're not very handy and you just want to, you know, plug and play kind of thing. Then Kaleidoscape might be the way to go. But if you're a person like me, I have about 2,000 movies on my network, plus a bunch of TV shows. Zappiti might be the way to go for you. I'm also looking for like a more high-end player that, you know, that'll look nice in my rack. I just want something that looks like it belongs in a home theater. Obviously, I'll still use my home theater PC as more like a movie server because it, you know, it holds up to 8 hard drives, so I can put all the movies I want in there. Pretty much, you know, I'd probably hold 120 terabytes if I wanted to, if not more. So my overall experience with this Zappiti has been, I think it's been good. Although this is the Zappiti Mini, which is an older version, it does have a very similar or pretty much the same interface as the newer versions. They have a reference signature and a Neo. I'm probably leaning more towards the Neo because it's like the least expensive one. And from my understanding, the Neo has the same chipset as the signature and the reference. So I think what the reference does, it has a slightly better DAC of some sort, but I'm not really sure if I need that. I just need something that gives me a good HDMI out and is able to play back all my content really easily. So even though I think this one retail for about $250, it is very small. It can fit behind a television, and I think that was the selling point of this device. You can fit it behind a TV and very easily integrate it into pretty much any setup. Even if you just had a very simple modern design where you just have a TV on the wall and you have no cables, everything's running behind the television, and you could probably do that with this one very easily. If you found this video helpful so far, it'd be really great if you can give this a thumbs up, and let's keep on going. So I'm gonna just go ahead and go over some positives and negatives which I've noted. I'm gonna start out with a negative. A negative being the interface is a little clunky and slow. I had to set up the Zappiti server on my home theater PC to get it working. There was a little bit of a learning curve, but once you figure it out, it's pretty easy to use. You can download software for the computer and set up their libraries that way, very similar to how you would do with Plex. Just like with Plex, you're gonna have like the Plex server running in the background on your PC or your NAS or something. They also have the Zappiti Cloud, so they have several options for this. You keep all your metadata and media information on their Zappiti Cloud. You can have it on the server on your home theater PC, or you can run it in an offline mode, which basically stores all the information, all the metadata and stuff within the player itself. I actually tried offline mode thinking that it may improve the speed of loading the metadata and information like media art and movie covers and all that stuff a little faster, but I didn't really notice a difference in speed. It may be the fact that this is just an older one with an older CPU, it's just an older chipset. My understanding is the newer players improve in that regard. So let me go into the positives for this player. This player provides some of the smoothest playback for 4K HDR video that I've experienced other than my Kodi DS player, which is, you know, I would say that as good as it gets. This is as good as that. The switching between HDR and SDR content happens seamlessly. The switching between TV frame rates also happens. So so the GUI for this thing is running, I'm assuming at around 60 Hertz. It'll switch the TV into 24 hertz modes when you're watching a movie, which is great because you're enjoying the movie and the frame rate that it was supposed to be enjoyed in. So yeah, playback experience is incredible. Definitely a plus is it handles 3D very well. It plays the full resolution 3D files in MVC format. It also plays side by side in top and bottom as well. So 3D is a plus. It handles HDR really well. This one does not have Dolby Vision or HDR plus, but the newer versions of the players do. For one of the pluses for the Zappiti platform and this player, and most of them come with like hard drive expansion. I think the reference, you can put up to 3.5 inch hard drives in them. I think they're up to 32 terabytes of onboard storage onto the Zappiti itself. This one actually has some external like SATA ports that you can plug into, plug an external. It's meant to like take an external, like an external hard drive. I have not been using that since all my movies are on my network. So I just plug in the Ethernet cable and I'm good to go. A couple of things that I did notice was that for some reason the Zappiti server, I can't get it to run when Windows starts. So if for some reason my home theater PC performs an update or something, it doesn't automatically load when it starts up, even though I put it in the startup folder. I don't know what's up with that, but if you notice that your GUI isn't loading up, it's probably because of that. So as far as aesthetics, I mean, this thing is tiny. I mean, that's kind of cool. They don't make this one anymore, but I'm sure you could probably find it used. This was actually a demo unit that I bought for about $220 just to try it out to see if I actually like Zappiti. And I'm glad I did because I actually do like it. I think I will end up buying one of these players when I actually upgrade my home theater projector to a 4K version so I can play each 4K content. So this is the remote that came with the device. It's probably kind of reminds me of like a old cable box remote. The newer players have a much nicer remote, so I wouldn't worry about this, but I'm perfectly fine with this one. As far as audio, this thing handles all the goods, handles Dolby Atmos, True HD, handles DTSX, it handles DTS HD, DTS Master Audio, Dolby Digital, just plain old True HD, it handles everything. So it can play everything, and I haven't encountered a single issue with audio playback. I would say I have pretty good experience with Plex, Kodi, and now started getting into the Zappiti a little bit. And I think they all have pros and cons. Kodi is open source. It has a very big community, so that it gets lots of updates. The interface, I would say I like it a little more than the Zappiti. It's just cleaner, and maybe I've just been using it for longer and then I'm used to it more. Once you load like metadata, cover art onto like a Kodi device, it just stays there. It like remembers it. It's like cached in memory. So next time you load it up, it's just instant. It's really fast. With the Zappiti, like every time you load it up, it's just, for some reason, it just refreshes it all. I wish they could bring out some kind of update to mitigate that, because right now, depending on whether you have it in like 2 lines, 3 lines, or a picture wall, which is like 5 lines, it can take a while to load up everything. So you're just sitting there waiting for like 30 seconds sometimes. Again, I think the newer players are faster than this one, but that's one thing I did notice. There is no like product that you can buy that's just like Kodi box that looks nice, that's supported by people out there, like human beings that you can call up if you have a problem. Zappiti does have that. As far as Plex is concerned, there is support with Plex, and Plex is omnipresent on everything, very similar to Kodi, actually more so than Kodi. You can get Plex on your phone, Plex on your iPad, Plex on a Fire Stick, Plex on Roku, Plex on smart TVs. I have Plex apps on smart TVs, on your computer. It doesn't matter where you are, Plex is there. So definitely Plex has that going forward. The Plex GUI is really good too, I have to admit. Again, similar to Kodi, there isn't a Plex box you can buy. So sometimes a device will only support up to Dolby Digital, or sometimes it won't support HDR. So there's always something. With the Zappiti, you know that you're buying a product that can handle everything. So yes, you're paying a premium for it, but I think if you're an enthusiast like I am, and you really care about picture quality and best sound and best possible sound, then maybe you're willing to pay that premium. So I also plugged this thing into my dedicated home theater room, and just basically to test out the tone mapping, since I have a non-HDR projector. All the tone mapping needs to be done at the source and not at the projector itself. A lot of the newer projectors you can buy actually do tone mapping, like the newer Epsons, JVCs, they all do the tone mapping within the projectors. I guess my conclusion is the tone mapping in this device is okay. It's not ideal. I wish I could make it, I wish there was some kind of slider to make it a little more aggressive. I think it's tuned more for like a normal television. So it's probably tuned to about two or 300 nits. I need it to be closer to 100 nits, so I need it to be overall brighter. I needed to compensate and be a brighter picture for a projector that isn't as bright as a normal television. But yeah, overall pretty good. There is some room for improvement in tone mapping. So this is the main interface of Zappiti. This is from the Zappiti Mini HDR, or 4K HDR I should say. So you're gonna, when you boot up the Zappiti, this is the home page that you're gonna get. If you hit the home page on the remote here, you're gonna, which is home, the home button there. This is kind of a basic remote. I'm pretty sure that if you get a more higher end player, you're probably gonna get a better remote. But this one isn't bad. It's backlit, so it's pretty cool. So this is the main home page. I'm gonna click into video. This is where all the action happens, and then I'm gonna log in. It'll say Zappiti video. Just takes a second. It's gonna log me in because it's actually logging into my server. Kind of similar to like a Plex server. So this is like the normal theme. This is just the basic classic theme that the Zappiti comes with. There are other themes you can buy. It probably functions the same. I'm going to go to 4K real quick and show you how quickly it loads up. So again, takes a second to load up. It's loading. As you can see, it's fetching the information from my server, and there it's already playing music from 1917 there in the corner. This is now it's playing the Avengers theme. And you got Braveheart, and yeah, I got a ton of movies on my network here. So if you hit the menu button, you get a bunch of different options, like you can change the picture from a particular movie that you're looking at. You can add a group, you can add a module. So these are like the modules down here, so you can add one of these and make it custom to whatever you want on your, well, you have different options, but you can add a new module. I've kind of kept it stock. Here you can see what's seen, what's ongoing, what you haven't seen. And this is basically informational. It'll give you collection statistics and all that stuff. You know, cache management would probably clean up the cache and make it maybe speed things up a little bit. So the settings is the thing I wanted to point out the most. This is where you can actually change how your interface looks a little bit. Right now I have the classic theme, and I kind of set it on 3 lines, but you can do so you can do 2 lines for like widescreen 2.3.1, which is it's just a wider screen format. It's like 21 by 9 more than this television is 16 by 9, but this is more like 21 by 9. So I got it 3 lines, 4 lines. And picture wall. I can show you what picture wall looks like. So if I exit this here, I'm gonna like reconfigure everything again, which is fine. And I'll go into 4K and I'll show you picture mode. You're gonna see that it's gonna take a little bit to load. That's why I didn't choose picture wall. It gives you 5 rolls of movies, but it does take a while to load. Again, I point out that this is one of the downsides, so it's starting to load up, but once it gets going, it goes pretty quick, as you can see. It looks cool. I mean, I think this is the coolest one, but you really got to be patient. With the 3-line one, everything loads a little faster, obviously. I can go down, so I'm going to go down to page 2, and as you can see, everything loads up pretty quickly once it gets going. It's pretty good. But again, I think the newer players are supposed to be better with this. So these are just my 4K movies. If I can go to categories and load up maybe science fiction, sci-fi down here. That's pretty cool. It's a TIE fighter. And then it will do the same thing and load everything up. Again, it's gonna some things have already been loaded, and others take a little while. So it's just gonna load. It takes a second to load everything up, but once it does, it's pretty snappy. So yeah, so that's basically the interface. That's like the most important part. Generally, I think it's a pretty good interface. I don't know how I feel about some of these icons and stuff. I hope one day they come up with, I know you can get new themes or skins for these for this interface, but I'm definitely going to look into getting a new one, maybe that silver one that's supposed to be free if I leave a review. I'm hoping to get that. But yeah, overall, I think it's a pretty cool interface. Probably not my favorite out of Kodi, and I would say as far as the interface is concerned, I'd probably put Kodi up at number 1, Plex. Actually, Kodi and Plex I'd put on par. This would be like a second to Kodi and Plex, really, because Plex has some things it does better, and Kodi has some things it does better. But this is pretty good. But honestly, the capability of the player is incredible. So I was just going to give you an example of how this area kind of keeps what, I guess this is the next area. I was recently watching American Psycho, so I'll just show you how that looks, what it looks like to resume. Again, you get the nice cover art, little description down there. If I hit the menu button, you can see it'll say show trailer, it's the associated content. So it basically scours the internet and looks for, making of, deleted scenes, extracts, reviews, and it'll just list them all here, and so you can watch them. It does take a while to populate, so that's, I don't know if it'd be quicker just to go on YouTube and search for these things, but if you just want to watch them on your TV, you always have that option. Okay, so this is what it looks like to resume a movie. It's going to load the video there, and it's going to ask me, so it's probably adjusting so you just adjusted the frame rate, and it's going to ask me, do I want to resume where I left off at 56 minutes? So I'm going to hit resume, and there it is. It just starts right up where I left off. I just wanted to point out one little thing about groups. You can see there's a little G here, and that denotes that there's a group here. So this is the Alien Anthology group, and then there I have all my Alien movies, including Alien, both. I have a 1080p version of Alien and a 4K version, and then I have Aliens, which they have not put out a 4K version of. Again, I could expand that and add Alien Covenant, all the other Alien movies. These groups this is just auto-populated by Zappiti. I can actually add to it manually through using the software on the computer or on an iPad. So I just wanted to point out one more thing. They recently upgraded the backgrounds to be like these live backgrounds, which is kind of cool. So that, it gives you a little bit of a dynamic feel. Not all movies are going to have this, or you're looking at about 200 right now, but the list is increasing all the time. So in this video, I'm not necessarily going to recommend the Zappiti Mini here because it's not really available. They're not really making it. I am, however, going to recommend the Zappiti media players in general. I think the pros outweigh the cons. The playback is what's more important. You're just looking for your movie here and there. I'm willing to wait a little bit, but once I'm playing something, it plays back really well. So I think it's a really good playback system. It's a really good media player, and it's a really good option. It's like you can buy the Zappiti like a box ready to go. You plug it in. Once you iron out the kinks and figure out the whole server thing and all that, you'll be good to go. And as I think I'm really glad I got this and experienced it for myself, and now I feel more comfortable going ahead and making a bigger investment into the company. If you found this video helpful, it would be really great if you can give it a thumbs up. It'd be really great if you can subscribe as well, and I'll see you in the next one.